If you don't want to hear about poop, this episode is not for you. Hello everyone, my name is Hannah. I'm a registered dietitian, and today we are talking about the food combining diet. So food combining is a not really so new wellness culture fad that's going around. As diets do, they often have been around before, then they reinvent themselves, become a new fad. So it's just another day in diet culture here. But I want to go over what food combining is, the claims that come with it, and why it is a diet you probably don't need to be doing. So food combining is a trend where you essentially can only eat certain foods together, and then there are other foods that you cannot eat together. The claim is that if you eat certain foods together, it really slows down your digestion, and this can lead to gas, bloating, toxin buildup, and you really just want food to move very quickly through your digestive tract. Spoiler alert, we don't want that for a lot of reasons I'll get into, but my first thought is diarrhea. Doesn't sound great. But there are a laundry list of rules that come along with food combining that I want to read off for you. So there are do's and there are don'ts, and I'll start with the do's. Always eat fruit on an empty stomach. Protein can be paired with non-starchy vegetables. Fats can be paired with non-starchy vegetables. Carbohydrates can be paired with non-starchy vegetables. Always wait 3 to 4 hours between meals before switching categories. Only consume dairy on an empty stomach. Okay, that's only half of the rules. Here are the don'ts. Don't combine starches and protein. Don't mix fats and protein. Melons should be eaten alone and never paired with other fruits. Don't drink liquid with meals. Don't combine starches with acidic foods. Don't combine different types of protein. Don't eat fruits and vegetables at the same time. Why? Like, this is exhausting. Who can keep track of all of those rules? So again, the big idea is that if we pair a fast digesting food like a piece of fruit with a slow digesting food like maybe some peanut butter, that's going to cause a traffic jam in our system, and we're not going to feel as light and energized as we would if we just had the fruit that went right through us and then we didn't have any toxin buildups. I don't know, it really makes no sense to me. Let's go over why food combining is honestly a pile of garbage. First of all, there is no evidence to support these claims that it makes, and honestly that should be enough reason to not do it, but we'll keep going. Let's talk about digestion, because the way that food combining thinks digestion works is way off. So what happens first is we chew our food, of course. That is the first step of digestion. Food goes into our mouth, we start chewing it, that begins breaking it down. During this process, enzymes are also released to help that breakdown of the food. So amylase is released to help break down the carbs that we eat, and lipase is released to help break down the fats that we eat. So this food bolus with those enzymes mixed in there all goes into the stomach next, and gastric acid is then released along with some other enzymes. This is now when pepsin enters the chat to help break down those proteins. Now, I want to stop here and make a really big point. These nutrients, the carbs, the protein, and the fats, are all being broken down at the same time. Amylase, lipase, and pepsin are all there. They're all working together to break down our foods. Food combining makes it seem like there's only one of those enzymes being released at a time to break down one single macronutrient at a time, but that's not actually how it works. And that's a really good thing, because most of the foods that we eat have more than one macronutrient that needs to get broken down. If we could only break down one nutrient at a time, digestion would take like probably days. So like, for example, say you had a slice of bread. That's going to contain mostly carbs, so amylase is going to do a lot of the work, but that bread likely will also contain protein and maybe even some fat too. It's a really good thing that our biology is made the way it is, so we can eat whole foods that contain multiple nutrients and break it down with ease. Okay, I also want to point out that we don't want food to go through our GI tract quickly. I already mentioned the diarrhea that could happen if food goes right through us, but we also wouldn't feel full for very long. Our proteins and our fats take a lot longer to digest than our simple carbs do, and so if you were only eating carbs on their own, yeah, it probably would go right through you and you'd feel hungry very shortly after. So I actually highly encourage pairing these foods together. Whenever we have any kind of carb, I always say don't eat those carbs naked, and we want to pair them with some kind of protein, healthy fat, and fiber. This will help to slow down the digestive process. It will reduce those crazy roller coaster blood sugar spikes, and you're going to feel full and satisfied for a lot longer. So I guess only do food combining if you want to have diarrhea and you want to feel hungry all the time. Let's talk about bloating real quick too. So some bloating is normal, like everybody experiences bloating. That's just part of digestion. Now, if you do feel like your bloating is very frequent and it's very painful, you shouldn't be doing some random diet like this to fix it. You should be going to see a doctor or a dietitian to figure out the root cause. Because I've really already established that this food combining is not sustainable for most people. And so if you did do it and it did cure your bloating, the minute you got back to your old eating habits again, it's gonna come right back. So again, bloating is normal, but if it is abnormal bloating, where it's frequent and painful, go see a doctor. Don't do a food combining 21-day fix to try to cover up your symptoms. Lastly, let's talk about weight loss. Food combining is also claimed to help with weight loss because every diet has a weight loss agenda. And you guys probably know what I'm gonna say about this if you've watched any of my other diet reviews, but any weight loss that you see from this is just going to be because you are eating less. You might be eating less because you are now eating more fruits and vegetables. Could be an effect there. Maybe you are eating more fruits and veggies, so you're getting more fiber in, so you don't feel as hungry to eat other foods. You might also be eating less because you can no longer combine foods. So back to that apple and peanut butter example, you can't pair those together, so you'd probably just choose the apple and you would save the calories from the peanut butter, and that would be you eating less calories. But again, with that situation right there, if you just had the apple without the peanut butter, you might feel hungry in 30 minutes to an hour and go rummaging through the cupboard for your next snack. Or you might also be eating less because your meals are now boring and bland. I don't really want to eat just an apple by itself or eat just chicken breast and maybe some non-starchy veggies with that. I want a full balanced meal with some healthy fats and some carbs. But if you are only allowed to eat one food at a time, you probably aren't going to overeat it. It's going to be so boring. And not to mention that any weight loss you do see from this, again, is not going to be sustainable for most people, because how long can you really be on this diet for? I say this all the time with almost every diet review that I do, but if you can't do it forever, don't even start doing it. You want your results that you get to be lifelong. All right, so bottom line, food combining is a fad diet. It is not going to be a lifestyle for most people. Our digestive tracts are way smarter than we give them credit for. They can break down a lot more than just one food group at a time. And so it is okay and even encouraged to combine multiple foods together. By pairing your carb-rich foods with protein, healthy fat, and fiber, you're going to feel full for a lot longer. It's going to digest nice and slow, which is a good thing, and your blood sugars are also going to be more stable. Okay guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope that this was another eye-opening diet review for you. Please leave a like if you enjoyed it. Don't forget to subscribe, and let me know in the comments what diet I should review next. All right guys, see you next time.